All right, welcome to another episode of the Freezin for NFC North Podcast, episode 57, 2023, week one previews, Homer versus reality takes. We're ready to get this season started. I know I am. Bears-Packers clash at Soldier Field. Thursday night football, the Lions are in action, and we're going to see what the Vikings have in store for us versus the Buccaneers. Actually, there you go. You got two teams that are, sailing away. Who's going to sail away with the victory there? Lots to dig into tonight. Welcome once again, Rev Trev, fresh off your Matt Ramage initial debut fantasy show. How are you, sir?
Doing well. Thanks for having me on. I'm pumped to be here. Freezin 4, baby. Let's go.
Once again, welcome, Seventh Letter. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, man. Excited. Just waiting for tomorrow to hurry up and get here. I'm waiting. I'm ready. I'm so ready.
How much Kool-Aid have you drank so far?
I drank all my Kool-Aid.
All of it. Okay. All right.
I've been kind of like functioning in a state of constant anxiety today. Like I've been just looking at everything Detroit Lions related, and it's like making me kind of like nervous and shit. So I should be okay though by tomorrow. By tomorrow, 7:00, I should be ready
to go. And as always, Mr. GA _SKol on X Twitter, you are back. Thanks for joining us, being our Vikings correspondent, so to speak, tonight. Welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to starting the season 1-0 with a nice, easy cruising victory.
We'll get to that. It's and so what we're gonna do tonight, we'll do path to each team winning, path to each team losing, because we gotta do both sides of the coin. So we got to start off right away. Thursday night football. I don't remember the last time the Lions were featured on an opening game. I mean, maybe 1901 or something like that.
We did have a Monday night football game in 2000 and the first week of the season against the Giants.
In 2000?
No, 2000 and I think it was 2014, 15. Yeah.
Wow. That's it's been a few years then. So, but I'm excited. I'm actually rooting for the Lions this week. It'll be interesting to see kind of what they have. So let's kind of dig into when you look at the Lions. So Seventh Letter, when you look at the game plan and when you look at this game on Thursday night versus the Chiefs, lay out a path to victory over the defending champ Chiefs.
All right. So what I need my offensive line without Chris Jones to perform like the second best offensive line in the NFL tomorrow. I need them to beat them up at the line of scrimmage. I need to I'm pretty sure Spagnuolo's going to probably double around third down. So I need third down converters. I need Gibbs and I need Laporta to convert those third downs. I need my rookies to act like the 2007 Giants rookies and, what I'm saying, help us get some victories, get some big plays. I just need the offensive line to keep that pass rush, those NASCAR packages that they're going to throw at us at bay, tomorrow. Golf is pretty good. When you blitz them, so hopefully we play. I'm only worried about like certain things, like Pat Mahomes. He's one of the players that can beat you by itself. You know what I'm saying? And as long as he got a little bit of speed on the outside, I do think now with the moves we did in the secondary that we can kind of hold up pretty well. I'm really not listening to the media about Travis Kelce being out tomorrow. He's probably going to play. You know what I mean? I think it's nothing but like a bruise or something now on the bone. So it's not as bad as they tried to make it yesterday. So he'll probably play. I'll need my rookie linebacker and Derek Barnes to kind of hold up against him. Hopefully they use my rookie Branch on him. You know what I'm saying? But they got a pretty good fast defense, even without Chris Jones. But we can run the ball on them. You know what I mean? And I'm okay with that. And they don't get a good pass rush without him. I think they're like 28th in a pass rush without him. So, but they did, draft what's the guy from what's his name? Karlaftis, and they drafted another pass rusher from Kansas State. So they're the Super Bowl champs for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
But I just hope that we perform at a high level and
it's right there.
You know what I'm saying? So the goals to victories is basically the route to victory is just control the line of scrimmage on the defensive line and the offensive line. Don't let them run the ball on us, because if Pacheco, for some reason, and we can't stop him, we're in trouble. We're gonna get blowed out tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? I'm really worried about McKinnon. That Viking used to kind of bust my ass back in the day too. So he's the one you got to kind of worry about, out of the backfield with the pass game. And Pat Mahomes kind of finds him when he starts running around and stuff. So keep him contained as well as we could, and it should be a close game. It's not going to be a blowout. 34-31 Detroit.
34-31 Detroit. You are going on record. I like that one. All right. So let's go ahead. Mr. GA SKol here. Give us a path to the Lions being tamed and really embarrassed versus the Chiefs on Thursday night, and really put back in their place in the division.
I mean, I think that path is very easy to see. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is obviously the best player in the NFL. So, I mean, he's only ever played one game, I think, without Kelsey. So that's going to be interesting to see if Kelsey doesn't play. But even if he doesn't, he spreads the ball around so well. I mean, he didn't miss Tyreek Hill when he was gone a bit. Jerick McKinnon, like I said, he's made him a superstar. He was injured quite often with the Vikings, went to the 49ers and was one of four guys, and now is a pass-catching fiend out of the backfield. I mean, it's easy to see how they can do that in offense. And then, on the defensive side for the Chiefs, I mean, they're a good defense. It's going to be interesting without Jones in there. If they can get that pass rush, if they can get pressure on Goff, I mean, without Jones in there, it's going to be a long day for the Lions. That offense needs to cook. For the Lions to win, they're going to have to put up some big numbers. I think they're going to have to put up 30-plus points. And that's easy to see, too. I think that game tomorrow was interesting. I think with Kelsey and Jones, you're probably not as interested in that game. But depending on how that shakes out, I mean, that could be I think it's a very close game. But I could definitely see an easy path with Mahomes just taking over.
Do you have a score?
Yeah, I think my prediction would be something like 24-20. I don't think the Lions are going to be able to put up the points like they did last year, and Mahomes will be able to do enough to kind of finish it off the Lions.
Absolutely. Now, Trevor, you're looking at this game, and I'm assuming you like what the Lions have done. So, do you like them enough to sway toward them winning in this game?
Yeah, on my NFC King of the North video, I did predict the Chiefs to win that game, but I also thought Kelsey was going to play. So if Kelsey's not playing, that changes the whole dynamic, in my opinion. And I think all Chiefs fans should be really nervous because the Lions are hungry. They look good. They look legit. They just need to prove it, for a full season. And if they can play like they did in the second half, I mean, they're for real, right? And then adding Branch, I think that was a big draft move there. Someone that a lot of Packers fans really wanted as well, but we chose not to go that path for some reason. So yeah, I think the Lions without Kelsey have a legitimate shot. And then, to be honest, I still think they have a legitimate shot at winning anyways. I'm still picking the Chiefs if Kelsey's playing. If Kelsey's not playing, I'm going to have to change my pick. I just don't know. And I don't know. I'm worried about that. Like, because you lose Tyreek and they don't miss a beat, right? And they go and win a Super Bowl, and that's amazing. But like, it's Tony, it's Sky Moore. It's like, who are these guys? They haven't. I don't know. I think the Lions they're hungry. They're ready. They're supposed to lose, and that's when they're dangerous, right? That's when those Lions attack.
So let's assume Kelsey plays because he's a gamer. He's going to make it happen. So assuming he plays.
Yeah, I'll just go 31-28 Kansas City.
31-28 Kansas City. Okay, it's going to be close. When you look at it, yeah, I mean, I really want to pick the Lions here, with defensively, with Hutchinson and some of the things that they've been able to do offensively, the emerging stars that they have, Amon-Ra, and all of that. But my son actually said something really wise coming home from school today. He said, you just can't, I wouldn't bet against Patrick Mahomes, and obviously he's 13, so he doesn't bet. But when you look at it, it's just hard to go against Patrick Mahomes in the big games. I'm also going to be a 34-28, score with that. I do like, I think, Jared Goff. We'll kind of see what he does in the big moments, but I think, the Lions are going to take a step forward, even in a loss this week.
Well, that's unfortunate you guys feel that way. But
well, I mean, we could be wrong.
I truly believe, I know they're the Chiefs. I know we got Spagnuolo over there. I know that Pat Mahomes probably got the best offensive line he's probably ever had.
Mm-hmm.
But I still feel that in our secondary and with the additions that we've made, even our linebacker group is a little better now. They always been fast. I think they're gonna do it. It's gonna be a lot of hitting going on out there. I'll tell you that. And I want to see how well those receivers, act with all that, after all those hits in the first and second quarter. Because I'm telling you, man, Garner Johnson is out here head hunting,
mm-hmm.
head hunting, and he wants the ball. Him and Kirby back there. Just don't let that ball hang in the air too long.
Kirby looked locked in. Absolutely. Do we think that the Chiefs are going to miss Eric Bieniemy at all?
You know what? Maybe.
I mean, the Chiefs still have Matt Nagy, which is not saying much. So,
have you seen
Super Bowl champ?
Any Redskin games? You seen any Redskin games?
I've seen the practice.
How was it?
Well, he's pissing everybody off, right? So
he is pissing everybody off, but the quarterback's playing pretty well.
Yeah, I like him. I like Bieniemy. I think Ron Rivera is. I like Ron Rivera too, but he just really kind of botching that. You keep that in house between coaches.
Yeah. He's he had chemo. I think he got chemo brain.
And could be
some of the stuff he says is like he still has a little bit of residual from that. It could be with the whole thing with the owner last year too.
Oh,
he said some shit this year. Like, man, if I'd have knew this quarterback played this good, I'd have played him more last year. Like, what the fuck? Wasn't you at the practice? I don't know.
All right, so all three of us have the Chiefs, and seventh letter, you're ready next week to tell us to make us eat crow. So
yes, I am. I'm here. I'm definitely here. I'm here for that.
But I have a question though.
Go ahead.
Because, aren't you worried about the suspensions? Doesn't that make a difference here? I just think at the end of the day, if you had those guys, I might be more proactive to say, so why is that not a factor in your decision making? Is it because you've had enough time without them? You knew they weren't going to be there? I think those are important pieces, aren't they?
Jameson Williams?
Yeah.
Wow.
And
he barely played last year.
He was struggling in camp too, I believe.
Yeah, honestly,
wasn't it more than just him? Wasn't there a couple?
Yeah, but those guys. It was a special teams player and somebody that wasn't even going to make the team.
Quintez Cephas, the former Wisconsin Badger,
who's always hurt. He was all right though, but he's always hurt. He probably wouldn't have made the team. He may have made the team because of the Jameson suspension. He may have made the team. But I just mean, that's another thing that kind of worries me. I don't think we got enough in the receiving core to really threaten them. And they're fast. One thing they are is fast. Everybody's fast. They got a whole bunch of 220, 230-pound linebackers. They got fast, small cornerbacks that know how to play man-to-man pretty well. So that's what worries me a little bit. But I'm betting on Jahmyr Gibbs and Laporta taking us over the top, because I think that they're kind of that's the skill set that we need to have the big plays, convert on third down. I think that we're going to try to hold on to the ball a little bit, keep Mahomes off the field, and mess up their rhythm a little bit. So we'll see. We'll see.
It looks like, and I'm not sure updated from 9 hours ago. It is Kansas City -5. The over under is at 53.5 points. So 5 points there. I mean, look at the Chiefs. It is the Chiefs. You never know.
Yeah, whatever.
All right. Speaking of whatever team that not too many people care about, the Vikings.
I think there is like such a negative Nelly connotation with the Vikings, what I'm absolutely shocked about. So
it does seem like it this year. I mean, coming off a 13-4 season,
right?
It seems like everybody's picking them to finish third in the division, if not fourth. I've seen Lions, Packers, and Bears all ahead of them in national media, and I know they won a ton of close games and a ton of come from behind games last year, and I realize that's not going to happen. They're not going to win every one-score game there is, like they did last year until the playoffs. But I think it is a little crazy to think that the over/under for the season is 8.5, which is, to me, is crazy. They think they're going to regress 5 full games to get the under. I mean, that's a big regression from last year.
Well, we'll look at their schedule here in a second, but let's go week 1. Greg, give us the path to Minnesota sailing to a victory versus the Buccaneers here in week 1.
I think it's probably one of the more lopsided matchups of the week on paper. I mean, it's the NFL, so you never know what's going to happen. We've seen stranger things. The Chiefs lost to the Colts last year. I mean, it happens, but I just don't see that. I mean, I don't see a very good path for the Buccaneers. The one thing would be if Baker Mayfield somehow became Baker Mayfield of 2018 and they had a resurgence and somehow was back there scrambling and they have the receivers. That'll be the one thing. This Vikings defense is terrible. The secondary was terrible last year. We don't know what's going to look like under Brian Flores. So that's the biggest thing is if you somehow let Baker Mayfield win and beat you, then you're probably going to be that 7-8 win team that everybody thinks about. But I think that's a very unlikely scenario. I think the score is going to be something like 27 to 13 or something like that. I think it's a 10-point plus victory for the Vikings. I think that Tampa Bay team wasn't good last year, and you take away Tom Brady and enter Baker Mayfield, I don't see any way they get better. I think they're going to be one of the worst teams in the league this year. So, I mean, I would be surprised if it's a loss. I mean, shocked if it's a loss and surprised if it's even close.
Didn't Baker Mayfield look like Tom Brady when he played with the Rams? I can't remember who he played, but it was he balled out.
He had a good game. He had a very good game a few years ago with the Browns against the Vikings too, where they went and lost in Cleveland, and he played very well. But I mean, it's just been so long for him playing at that level. And I mean, you never know. It's a 1 week scenario. He has the talent. Obviously, he's done it before for several games. I think he won 11 games with the Browns at one point. So you never know. But I think that's very unlikely. I think if Brian Flores is anything to what we hope that he is in Minnesota, that game should be an easy victory for the defense to kind of shut him down and start off on a good smooth path. And Kirk Cousins just has to not screw it up. And he last year he wasn't turning the ball over, and that's all he needs to do is take care of the ball and move it efficiently. And you have the best wide receiver in the game, and just let him make some plays for you.
Are you looking forward to Jordan Addison addition as well? Kind of see what he has.
Absolutely. So we got very little of that wide receiver 2 spot last year. I mean, Thielen was hurt. Osborne is never a wide receiver 2. He's a 3 at best. So I think I'm hoping that Addison is the number 2 the team needs. I'm really looking forward to it. He's looked great in camp, so we're really looking forward to it.
So, Trevor, do you want to take the path to the Minnesota being raided by the Buccaneers, or
no, man? I'm all in on the Vikings.
You're all in on the Vikings. Okay. Wow. Yeah. Okay.
So I'm thinking it's going to be 41-7.
Wow.
Whoa.
Like this is not even going to be close. This is going to be a slaughter. I can't see any scenario where the Buccaneers win on Sunday. Like that's how strongly I feel about this. I think the Vikings are going to be very mad about the national narrative that's happening. I think they have a lot to prove. I think Kirk Cousins is going to be prepared. I do agree that Addison is going to want to prove himself to be a star, be worthy of all that. I do not think the defense is going to be as bad as everyone thinks because of Flores. But I'm not educated enough to say what that defense is like. That's why I keep asking Vikings friends, like, what am I missing here? And every Vikings fan I talk to think that they're going to be terrible defensively. They're nervous about the year. So I just feel like I'm on an island by myself, planting a flag on the Vikings here. And I'm like, I guess I'm missing something because every Vikings fan seems nervous to me. So what do I know?
Seventh letter, are you?
Well, I do think that the Vikings will win, but I don't think it'll be a blowout. I don't. I think defensively the Bucs will be in it early. If the Bucs aren't able to move the ball, I think eventually the defense will get tired, and then it'll start to, they'll start to, get him, it'll get away from them. But y'all offensive line good yet on the Vikings?
Yes. Tackles are.
All right, so they got Vea. You know what I mean? They got Shaq Barrett still. They still got those interior linebackers that are fast as hell, so that'll take away a little bit. Because I don't think that you guys can threaten them enough with the run. And the fact that you guys don't have that beast back there anymore, I don't think it's gonna be that. If you're gonna, because they'll just sit back, play that cover two, smack whoever catches the ball, and so I don't think it's gonna be that like that blowout you guys think it's gonna be.
Well, I think it's gonna be a blowout. I don't know, man. I don't know what Andy's thinking.
I think that they'll pull away eventually, but
yes,
I don't think it's gonna be a blowout. No.
Yeah, you're probably right in the parity, right? It's parity in the league. I'm just in that scenario. So
what score you got? Seventh letter.
I think it'll be like 24-17 or something like that.
24-17 Vikings.
They'll cause turnovers. Like Kirk is going to turn the ball over. He is. They got a good defense, if anything. You know what I mean? The Bucs got a pretty good D. It's just that if they're on the field too long, I can see the Vikings pulling away. I don't think it's going to be 40-3 though. No. Baker Mayfield sucks, but he does got some things on the outside. You know what I mean? He still got Mike Evans. He still got what's the guy's name? What's his
Chris
name?
Godwin.
Godwin.
good.
They got a good. They got a pretty good old line. So if you guys can't stop the run, they'll just run on y'all. So
all right.
I don't know. That's why I don't believe in the Vikings, because I don't think that against good defenses with those type of defenses, those are the defenses that'll give Cousins trouble. People that can cover and rush the passer. That's how everybody that you guys lost to last year was able to do that. So that's why I don't think it'll be a blowout. So,
all right, I guess I got to take this one then. Here is the Minnesota Vikings path to being rated by the Buccaneers. I mean that secondary. Yes, I like Flores, but you have to have the personnel. There've been issues. I think it's going to be a shootout. I think we get once in a while we get good Baker, right? And now he's had this offseason. Everyone's saying he stinks. He's got a chip on his shoulder. He's in a new team. Obviously everyone kind of thinks the Buccaneers and the Cardinals are tanking for Caleb Williams, which they might be. You look at Rachaad White, kind of get him going. And I think he has a big game. I do think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Maybe I haven't really studied enough on the Buccaneers defense, but I think it is going to be it's going to be a tough one for the Vikings. I think it is going to be a 31-28 Buccaneers win. It's going to be a little bit humbling, but I think Kirk Cousins is still going to throw for a bunch of yards because he's going to need to. I think the Buccaneers are going to start out fast. And hold on for a 31-28 Buccaneers win. Was that very convincing?
I will not be surprised.
I will be very.
I would be shocked if that was actually true. But yeah.
I would not be surprised.
Although I do think, the Buccaneers are not going to have a good year. When Buccaneers, well, going with Baker Mayfield, I just feel like, nothing about his career makes sense. Right. Like he was supposed to be, it's supposed to be Brett Favre, supposed to be a gunslinger. He's had, great games. He's had terrible games. He's been, traded, done amazing for small stretches. It's really bizarre. And that's why I just think, I think this is going to be a really bizarre season for the Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield and also the Vikings, quite frankly. I think as they kind of figure out their personnel and figure out what they have at running back, right? We'll see how long Madison lasts, and he hasn't really caught much out of the backfield, I believe, right? He hasn't, so, and they may need that.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason Baker Mayfield can't be the next Geno Smith and all of a sudden just resurrect his career out of nowhere and become a top 10 QB. But I mean, I think that's very unlikely and it doesn't happen very often. But that's about what it's going to take for this Buccaneers team. I
agree. All right. So for the main course, we're going to go ahead. Bears and Packers week 1 showdown at one of the best stadiums ever. Soldier Field, so good that they're going to retire it pretty soon, and it's going to be up in the rafters. So, Trevor, I'm going to give you the first shot here. Give me a path to Green Bay win. I know I've heard you on a couple other podcasts, lay this out. So, go ahead and give that to everyone listening.
I think that we're better than people think. And the narrative is changing. It was a lot of negativity. And I'm just sitting here going, 3 years, sitting there, learning the system, learning the scheme. I was very nervous about him being our starting quarterback up until this offseason and this preseason, this training camp. I started seeing things that I had not seen with him. I've seen him make throws that I didn't see before last year when they played those 9 throws with Philadelphia. Very encouraging. So I know that it's only 6 completions there. So I was tame the whole time. But I just think if Dobbs and Watson play, we can do something with that. I think that Musgrave I think he's going to be good. I don't know if he's going to be good week 1, but he's going to be good. I like our defense a lot. I love that Gary's back. Gary is trouble. This guy brings pressure. He's looking for a big raise. He's wanting Bosa money, which is crazy to me, but I don't know if he's that good. I think you just can't. I mean, everyone's talking about, DJ Moore, and I've seen so many Bears fans posting a video of DJ Moore making a slant route and on Jair. See, he's torching him already. And I was like, are you kidding me right now? He literally shut JJ down. Like, Jefferson was dog breath last year when they played. So I don't get this narrative where the Bears are so scary and so amazing. But I do think the Bears have improved, and I do want to give them respect for even though I believe they had too many holes to fill in one offseason, I think that the Bears are headed in the right direction. So I'm not trying to disrespect Chicago. I just think that we're a lot better. No one's talking about our running backs. No one's talking about our everyone's talking about a quarterback and our young this and that. And it's like, dude, we're hungry. Like we're people are mad in that room that everyone's counting us out. So I think they have a lot to prove. At the end of the day, talk is cheap and they got to do it. They have to, like, going in and beating the Bears in Chicago is going to make a statement that nobody understands how important that is. And it's not just one game. But I also think the flip side is that if Chicago can beat Green Bay, that's going to make a statement too. So I'm excited about Sunday afternoon. I'm going to get my popcorn ready. I know Seventh Letter already has his ready right now. He just finished it. He was so ready. And so I'm in, and I'm pumped, and I can't wait. And in fact, I'm traveling an hour north to meet with one of my closest friends who's a Bears fan, and we're going to watch it together, and we're going to have a great time. Win or lose, we're going to have a great time. And I'm just so pumped that football's back. But, man, Bears-Packers game 1, who doesn't want that?
It's smart. It was smart of the NFL to do that. There's so much intrigue. I was on Dale and AvgCheese podcast last night and just kind of talking a little bit about some of these keys as well. And I'll help you out a little bit. When you look at the front offensive line and defensive line, that scares me as a Bears fan. If Green Bay is able to control the line of scrimmage, on both sides of the ball, run the ball, and then even, pressure Fields. Obviously Fields can, make those plays, out of nothing. So at least, we, as a Bears fan, we have that. But that's kind of the path. And then also we talked about on the podcast last night, also the special teams. I'm really worried, and I do not know how Velus Jones Jr. still has a roster spot with everything he did last year, and even in the preseason this year. He's just continuing to make boneheaded moves. They may even have Khalil Herbert returning kicks, so we'll see. A little worried about the special teams there, but Craig, what do you think about this matchup?
Yeah, I think it's very intriguing because you have two of the young quarterbacks, and that's really the big question and what everybody's thinking about coming into this game is Fields going to start taking that next step forward? Is Love ready to take over? I think that's really fascinating. I'm excited to see that it's not at the same time as the Vikings game, so I could actually just sit down and watch it because I don't think either one of these teams are going to be great this year or a contender to win anything, but I think it's going to be a fascinating matchup and to see the future of these two teams, because I think this, like Rev Trev said, you can really set yourself up by going to Chicago and having a big victory, or it can be really demoralizing if you can't move the ball and all of a sudden you put up 6 points on offense and everybody turns around looking at the quarterback going, oh, it's the first time in 30 years we don't have a Hall of Famer back there. And I think that's going to be fascinating to me. I haven't been awake enough to see a Packers team without a Hall of Fame quarterback on week 1. So, that's I'm excited about seeing that personally as a Vikings fan. I think
it's been since like 91, 90.
93,
I think it's the first one since 93, since it wasn't Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers. So, I mean, it's week 1. It's going to be fascinating. The Bears, have never had a quarterback, so it'll be interesting to see if they the one that they think is the chosen one here is finally actually a decent one.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the chosen one. So I'm going to give you the path to the Bears' victory on Sunday. And when you look at it, number one, I think I've said this all off season, it's at home, right? And Fields does have a lot to prove. But any quarterback, he's already had the in-game experience. He's had that, moment, last year where nobody expected them to beat the 49ers and it was just a messy, sloppy game. And he was still able to perform, in that game, and somehow they won that game. So he's had the ups and downs. He's seen it, another year with Luke Getsy. I think that, when he has that continuity, I think that's going to be helpful. But yeah, once again, do I think, I'd have to look at the wide receiver kind of rankings. Do I think, DJ Moore is a top 5 wide receiver? Probably not. But he's probably in the top 10, right? And he is one of the best wide receivers that the Bears have had probably ever.
Brandon Marshall.
Brandon Marshall is right there, but DJ Moore has the opportunity to be better. Brandon
Marshall.
Lucid Muhammad.
He was good. I liked it.
He was good too. Johnny Knox was good too, but I think DJ Moore with all of the, I think they're going to do if they're smart, we have some offensive line issues. Center, they're starting Lucas Patrick. Your good old Packer friend, Rev Trev, is going to be starting at center. So there are going to be obviously issues with the line. So if they do some quick screens and really try to let DJ Moore, Khalil Herbert, make those plays, I think, and really spread the ball around and really have that game plan to help the offensive line do what they can do. I think that's the path offensively for the Bears. Defensively on the other side, we talk about underrated. I really think the Bears have the best secondary in this division. I'm saying the Chicago Bears have the best secondary in the NFC North.
Well, it's basically you and Detroit. It's basically the argument here.
Well, I mean, we say J.R. Alexander is good, right?
Well, I know. I think Douglas is good as well, but I guess our criticism is our safeties, right? So it depends. If we get good safety play, then that's out to lunch. But I don't know. I think the Detroit Lions have pretty good defense. I don't know. What do you think, Seven Letter? I mean, is he smoking here crack or what?
Oh, the secondary? Yeah, I don't know. It's all right. He has the right to feel that way.
Now, go ahead, Craig.
I got to show. I had to stick together. We barely played together during the preseason, so I don't know yet. You always need that cohesion and communication. So I want to see how it looks tomorrow. I haven't gotten a chance to see nobody in the starting secondary play other than Branch played those 2 series against the Giants, and they sat him down the rest of the preseason. So
go ahead, Craig.
I would say I don't think there's a full secondary in the entire NFC North. I mean, I like the cornerbacks in Green Bay, but I like the safeties in Detroit and the Bears. I mean, all around are good, but there's nothing like, oh my God, you can't throw at him on the Bears defense. There's nothing like that. So, but I think you might be right, but it might be like who's the tallest short person in the room kind of thing.
Tell you what, I think the Bears secondary is going to surprise a lot of people this year between Jalen Johnson being a contract year, Jaquan Brisker. He is on the injury report this week, so that'll be interesting to see. But he's got and he's got something proven. Yes, Eddie Jackson, he's a dog right there. But obviously, the Bears have issues, with safety depth. But even on the other side, Tyreek Stevenson, I love what he's done in camp, really kind of asserting himself. And so when you look at that secondary, I think they're going to really surprise some people, and that can really take some pressure off of that the defensive line, because really that's a huge issue for the Bears, is that getting pressure on the quarterback, and that's what they're really going to need. Somehow either secondary or linebackers, or hopefully the defensive line really throw Jordan Love off his mark, because you look at it, I said this all off season, you got a first-year starting quarterback on the road, versus a really hated, tough rival. He may be either way too amped up or the opposite, right? He may just try to take it on himself and try to do too much, because I'm looking at that. If he tries to do too much, there's going to be a couple picks from the secondary, and so I'm looking at the Bears defensively being able to stop him and hopefully contain the Green Bay receivers. Jaden Reed scares me a little bit, obviously with Dobbs and Watson a little bit banged up, but I think when you look at the Bears defensively, I think they're going to be able to hold the Packers down a little bit. And obviously there's a lot of growth there, but I just don't see the Packers being able to stick with offensively the big play capabilities now that the Bears have with DJ Moore and with Cole Kmet, some of the things that they can do. So I'm going to look at this game, and I'm going to say Bears win 31-21. Trevor, what are your thoughts on that?
That's a lot of points. Yeah, Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree with a lot of what you said, because the only thing is, and this is going to sound extremely disrespectful, but it should more talk about my ignorance. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
Everyone you were talking about in defense, I'm like, who the heck is he talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Who are these guys?
Mm-hmm.
Like, honestly, and maybe it's because I just didn't watch a lot of your guys' games because you were 3 wins and some of those guys didn't play. I don't know. All I know is like this Brisker guy is saying these things, and I'm like, who are you? And now everyone's going to say you're about to find out. You're about to find out, right? And that, you know what's making me excited is that's what I am really looking forward to in this game, is finding out who these guys you guys keep talking about. I'm like, I have no idea. So I know that's going to sound very disrespectful, but at the end of the day, I don't know them, and I'm thinking, if I don't know them, the amount of football I watch, and I don't know who they are, I don't think they're that good. But I could be wrong, right? I highly doubt it, but I could be wrong.
Stevenson's a rookie, so out of Miami, and drafted. They're talking a lot about him, how good he was, and he's really showed that in camp as well. Really kind of pushing, obviously veterans, but even other teams as well. So, seventh letter, are you in on the Bears?
I think both of these guys, the quarterbacks, have to prove that they're able to process.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think Jordan Love has an easier opportunity to do so, only because of the Packers' defense. I think the Packers have a really, really good defense. On paper, they still got Clark. Wyatt may play this year, but Smith is playing. Quay Walker, he's fast. Gary's playing. Alexander, like he said, the safeties are kind of garbage. But I do think the way Justin Fields played last year against them, he didn't throw any touchdowns. He threw 3 interceptions, picked off 3 times, sacked a lot. I don't think – I mean, as I look at it, I don't really think the Bears are going to win. They don't have enough yet. I do think Justin Fields will throw a touchdown against the Packers this year. I do think he's dangerous with his legs, but I just think that the Packers they still got Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon, Watson, Dobbs. I love Jaden Reed. Musgrave might be good. Their offensive line is the Packers' offensive line. It really kind of never really mattered because the way that they play quarterback there. The offense. So I just think that the Bears have a harder road to winning this game than the Packers. I think the Packers easily can win this game 24-21.
24-21, okay.
Yeah. It's just they just got a little bit more than the Bears do on paper.
Trevor, have you heard much about Bakhtiari? I mean, he hasn't been practicing. He's a veteran. He can kind of, come right in. Have you heard much about him, whether he's going to play?
No, they're keeping it quiet. So I would assume you would play, but I mean, if you're healthy, you've got to be playing in that game, right? It doesn't matter if you play against the Raiders. It matters if you play against the Bears, man. I'm just saying. It's week one.
The Bears better win, though.
Yeah, I agree.
They better win,
man.
All his mouth, they better win. That's all I got to say about that.
Trevor, what do you think? What do you think the score prediction will be?
This is the problem. I'm not going homer here, and you guys know what I think because you've watched the video. So I've been all in on Green Bay winning this game, and then I was going through the record. I made my video 7 times. And on number 6, when I was all done and everything was getting rendered, and I'm like, I just can't in good conscience. In reality, you know what the problem is? The problem is this show right here. I have your stupid voice in my head, Andy.
I love it. I love it.
And I keep thinking, guy has not played very much. He's going into Soldier Field. How can I be picking against this guy? How can I be put? And then I know I'm sitting there going, but the Bears have holes like you wouldn't believe. So I know this is a very, very long answer because I've been struggling with this. And even now, as Seventh Letter's been talking, I'm like, I want to pick the Packers. Yeah, and this is the other problem. The Packers fans are going to be so mad at me about this, and this is why I was like, I don't want to make this video. Because I didn't even post it in my Packers groups, like Facebook groups, because I'm like, I'm just going to get crucified in there. It's not even worth it for me. So I'm picking the Bears 24-21. I'm doing the opposite of seventh letter.
All right.
I hope I'm wrong. I hope that I'm just like, I think I don't want to be embarrassed that if we lose this game, then I can't say, well, I knew that was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I just have this feeling that they're going to come out and they're going to be, but then I don't think you're going to get a better record than us. And I do think we're going to win at the end of the year against you. So
at Lambeau. Yeah, I can see that.
I'm just hoping that it does not go the way I'm thinking. I hope I'm dead wrong. I hope we win by 20.
Craig,
21.
Since I know that you're not a Justin Fields apologist, what is your score prediction?
I am not a Justin Fields apologist, but I'm also certainly not a Jordan Love lover either. So I think my personal feelings are these are two below average quarterbacks fighting out to try to save their 4-year careers in the NFL. I think I don't think either one of these guys are good, and I think there's a lot of good quarterbacks coming out in the next few years. But for the immediate kind of reaction, I think the two veterans the Bears have signed this year are going to help out a lot. Yannick Ngakoue and DeMarcus Walker on that defensive line. Those two defensive ends are going to make a difference, and I think that is actually what wins you the game against Green Bay. I think both quarterbacks are going to struggle a little bit. I'm looking at a 20-13 victory for the Bears. I think that defensive line for the Bears is actually very underrated. And Ngakoue has done nothing but prove he can get to the quarterback everywhere he's been. He's on his 5th team, I think, or 6th team.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Jaguars, Ravens, Vikings, Colts, and 5th team. I think 5th team. So yeah, but all he does is get double-digit sacks. I mean, he's a producer. And I think Walker had a great year last year in Tennessee, and I think that's a great signing too. So I think that defensive line for the Bears is going to make it a long day for the Packers. I think they squeak out a touchdown, but 20-13 is definitely my pick there.
Yeah, I love that you brought up, those additions. It still worries me a little bit. Ngakoue, he hadn't played as much in the preseason. In some of the preseason games, even the first unit, we weren't getting much of a pass rush. So hopefully, that is the hope that there is. You get pressure on Jordan Love, and he is forced to to make poor decisions, because really when you look at the NFL quarterback position, it's learning on the go. And obviously everyone is crucifying Justin Fields and saying he's busting Fields for his record last year, his interceptions, especially I'll bring it up, that one versus the Lions, and all that stuff. But what's that? Fumbles, all that stuff, right? But those things, it's learning on the job, and when you don't have a roster around you, you can only do so much. And I've gone back and forth with some Packer fans that say, well, if a quarterback is that good, then he could win the game on his own, and no, you have to have great players around you, and you have to build the roster completely. And obviously, I think the Packers are going to continue to find that out as well. I mean, when you look at Aaron Rodgers, and you might even agree with this as well, Trevor. Aaron Rodgers had covered up for a lot of deficiencies in the roster in the past, and when you don't have a veteran quarterback, a Hall of Fame quarterback, it's going to matter. Especially on the road in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, I think a young quarterback and 2 young receivers is going to be a big ask too. I mean, those are very young receivers you have in Reed and Watkins. A young quarterback that hasn't really played a ton. I mean, that's a lot of chemistry to try to build at Soldier Field. I've seen a lot of good teams going to Soldier Field against bad Bears teams and still lose. I mean, the Vikings, they used to be an annual loss on the schedule, no matter how good they were. I mean, Mike Zimmer almost lost his eye in Soldier Field. So I mean, it's a tough place to play. The field's always going to be in bad shape. I don't care. It's the first game of the season. It's going to be in bad shape. It always is. So it's a tough place to play. And I think that the team with the best, line play, which might be the advantage to the Packers, but I think that defensive line for the Bears is going to pull through.
So Trevor, I'll give you the first, crack at this. Is this overall for 2023 season, is this a bigger game for the Bears? Is it a bigger must-win for the Bears, or is it a bigger must-win for the Packers?
I've thought a lot about this, actually. I'm kind of feeling like it's equal in the way. Okay, I think it's bigger for the Bears by not that much. Because if you guys lose, what are people gonna say? It's nothing's changed. We still own you. The whole thing is it's like just another day at the office, right? But if Green Bay loses, it's like the world's going to end because there's one, like, we've just been owning this team for 30 years, right? And I'm not saying all fans are going to act like that, because I definitely believe that it's just week one, right? We all know it's just week one. But what I'm feeling like is this fan base is so divided as it is over Jordan Love and getting rid of Rodgers and the way it all ended, that it feels like it's bigger on our end that way. But I do feel like you guys have a lot to prove. And I am shocked at the Bears fans, how good they think they're going to be with all those things. But I do agree that they've been better. I don't hammer on Fields like everyone does. Like, I think a 3-win team, you can't blame that on Fields. There's no way you can only be a 3-win team and say, like, 3-win teams that blame it on their quarterback, that quarterback's not back next year.
Correct.
Right? This is a young guy who's learning, and I think there was too many holes so my personal opinion is, real quickly, I do think it's a little bit bigger of a game for the Bears. I think the Packers will overreact if we lose, but I do think it's a bigger deal for the Bears.
I'm going to go a couple ways with this question, actually. So I am going to say it's a bigger deal for the Bears in one aspect for the Ryan Poles era. I mean, coming out of there's so many years of management from the ownership, from leadership and everything like that. If the Bears lose this game, with Jordan Love at quarterback, on 670 Score, you should tune in to 670 Score on Monday, because they're going to be melting down. People are going to lose their minds. How could this happen? We finally had them where we wanted them. It's just going to be a mess. So that way, and maybe I try to stay away from the complete fandom, the complete, oh, my life is over. This is, so yes, I think it's just going to be a complete meltdown on Chicago radio if the Bears lose, and I'll be pretty mad if the Bears lose as well, because just everything is kind of set up. This is the trajectory. We need to see some growth. We have to beat the Packers at home in the first week, right? But then on the other coin of it, and this is kind of where I've been, last year as well. You look at it, if the Bears lose, they are going to have another really terrible season. It's going to be 3-4 wins. And the silver lining is, and it stinks because you don't want to always be rebuilding. The silver lining is they'll have 2 first-round draft picks, right? And where Poles will maybe be able to get his guy. So it's really interesting. And I don't know how much college football you guys watch, but the Duke-Clemson game. Obviously, Duke, the upset versus Clemson. Duke, was not expected to win at Duke. Duke has a pretty well-known and decent quarterback. The Ryan Poles and his whole staff was at that game live, and they were watching all the prospects on Monday, including a quarterback from Duke. So, so if you take it that way, now I'm a believer in Fields. I really am. But, they were doing their homework on, obviously, whatever NFL prospects were there on that Monday. So that is the silver lining if the Bears lose. But that being said, I don't want that silver lining at all. Yeah. I want the Bears to take care of business.
I think the Reverend is like in a bubble. I think definitely I think this means a lot more to the Bears because of the crowning of Justin Fields last year, and them saying it's not his fault that we were 3 and whatever. Now we gave them some weapons. I guess the world thinks that they have adequate enough weapons for him to perform better this year. And by chance he doesn't, then the ship be sinking. And it's gonna be tough in Chicago for Justin Fields. So because nobody really expects anything from the Packers this year. I don't know why. And they still got the defense. They still got a pretty good coach. They still, I mean, we don't know yet. I think also that's another thing. If the coach doesn't perform well without Aaron Rodgers, he might be on his way out the door. So the rebuild is really going to happen for you guys. And it's going to be tough, Trev. I'm telling you. Rebuilds suck, but hopefully you guys figure it out. But hopefully not, actually. But it definitely means more to the Bears. This game is,
I agree,
because Justin Fields is the franchise quarterback, and they've crowned him. And if they lose to the Packers again in Soldier Field,
oh yeah,
what's the channel I gotta listen to Monday?
670 The Score.
I'll be tuning in. I hear it on
yes.
That's my favorite thing about this game is no matter who loses, you get to tune into one of the two channels and listen to the fans meltdown, because I think both sides actually think they can be pretty good. I don't think either one of them are going to be very good personally, but obviously, like you said, if the Bears lose this game, they're going to be a 5 or 6 win team, and they're going to be drafting Fields' replacement. I think that sets up the whole season. If the Packers lose this game, I think it's less of a big deal, because I think Jordan Love gets a little bit of time to figure things out. Like, it's his first full year as a starter. It's his first going through training camp and all the motions. I think he gets at least a couple months into the season to figure it out. And if he doesn't start looking good, then you start to panic. But I don't think you panic on Jordan Love after one game. I think you start to panic on Fields if he goes out there and throws for 120 yards and rushes for 60, and then all of a sudden and 3 turnovers, and you're like, oh, well, now what are we going to do? Because that quarterback isn't the one, and we're back winning 5-6 games. Though I think it's so much bigger for the Bears, especially because it's at home. But like Fields, it's so much more important to Fields because of where he is in his career versus Jordan Love. I think that doubt really starts to creep in if they can't start passing the ball effectively. I mean, everybody knows Fields can run the ball over the field, but he needs to be able to take advantage of those wide receivers you've signed and actually make it happen and put out a victory against your biggest rival.
Yep.
Wow.
I would agree. Trevor, you're stunned.
I'm just thinking there, like, and this is what I've been tweeting about. This is the problem with Chicago. You guys obsess over our team. The goal is to beat us. How in the world are you guys saying if we lose week 1, it's over? We're getting a new quarterback. You still have 17 more weeks. Like, do you really feel, Andy, that if you lose week 1, let's blow it up, we're going to be a 5-win team? Like, there's other teams you should be able to beat, right? Like, I know that people don't think that we're going to be good. We might surprise some people. But how in the world can you say this and really believe, like, okay, well, let Caleb Williams, we're going for. We're the whole it does bother me that coaching staff went to that game. That scares me.
How good can you be if you can't beat an average team at home?
Right. It might not be average, though. You don't know that. That's what I'm saying.
They're young, though.
What you're saying is
young,
like, what I'm saying, okay, yeah, young team, that's fine. But, like, you can't say that Jordan Love sucks yet. Well, he hasn't had a big enough sample size to say that he is great, bad, or average. Nobody can say that yet. Like, let's give him a year to figure it out. You guys have all decided that he's no good. I don't know the answer to that. I've watched every snap of his, and I don't know the answer to that question.
Well, that's why, I mean, Craig was saying that as well. I think, when you look at it, Jordan Love, and I think this is, yes, obviously, a lot of, Bear fans, will jump off a cliff on Monday, if the Bears lose to the Packers, because it's just been so long, right? But Packer fans as well, I think, are on that same, category. You have to be honest about your roster. They are, Jordan Love may be good, right? But it's going to take some time. But they're the youngest, I believe, the youngest roster in the league. So you have that youth, and yes, I think they, came out and said they did it because of, the speed, athleticism, all that. But they're a young roster, so it's going to take time. And if the Bears, with their veterans, the veterans they signed, they can't beat an average young team, I still will, give Fields the benefit of the doubt because, issues with the offensive line, issues, all of that stuff. But there will be, a group that will say, it's time to look and move on. If he can't make the throws, if he can't, contribute to a win or contribute positively to this game, it just needs to happen because, yes, it's only week 1, but it can change the trajectory. I mean, where do we think we're at, for the rest of the season? Because, if you can't beat Packers at home whenever this game has been circled, it's going to be tough. Yes, we'll win other games, but it's just really going to be tough. Even to beat the Lions, because I think the Lions are better. I do even think the Vikings overall offensively are better than the Packers. So it's just going to be tough.
It's a division game too, man. Division games are important, especially with playoff berths and things of that nature. So
the NFL didn't do them favors by scheduling the Packers in Chicago week 1.
Word.
The Bears any favors?
No, the Packers any favors. Jordan Love's
yes.
first game as the starter, is going into Soldier Field. That's a pretty tough ask.
When you're good, everyone hates you. Okay? I don't like Tom Brady either. He's got 7 rings, right? I respect him. I think he's incredible. They're just tired of watching us win. So apparently they're trying to stack the deck, and that's fine. We'll bring it on. Let's go.
Well, tell you what, I was thinking about going to the game and I didn't buy tickets early enough. Cheapest tickets are like $220 a pop. And it's just, I may go, we'll see. But as of now, it's the NFL is smart because it's a business and this is a marquee matchup. Because it's not like one of those games to be like, we know this team's going to win. It is, there's a lot of questions on both sides. I am on the side that, obviously the Bears win because they're at home. But it's down to a 1.5. So it's not a lot, it's coming down. And I don't know if that's injuries or what it is. A lot of, bets coming in on the Packers, but, it's going to be all eyes are going to be on Soldier Field.
It's crazy. I think everyone should tune into the Lions-Chiefs game. Mm-hmm. I think the Bills Jets game on Monday night, that's going to be a special game. Mm-hmm. Isn't Sunday night Dallas Giants, right? Those are spectacular games. What people are talking about if Craig is right, then we're 2 average teams or 2 below average teams. It's a mind-blowing that we're talking about this game, right? It's pretty cool. Good job on the NFL.
2-story franchises. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think it's very interesting. I think you have the potential with those 2 quarterbacks. You never know. I didn't think Josh Allen was going to be Josh Allen after seeing him play a couple years either. So I think that's fascinating about this matchup. Even if the teams aren't great, if Justin Fields can get this team to 7 or 8 wins, he gets another year. And he gets to figure it out, and he might become the next great quarterback. If Jordan Love gets this team to 9-10 wins, that team's good enough, obviously, to contend for a playoff spot. If he is a competent quarterback, if he's a top 15 quarterback, then that's a playoff team or borderline playoff team. So I think it is interesting. I personally don't believe it's going to happen for either team, but I think there's that opportunity, and there's nobody that can sit here and say there is no chance that either team isn't good.
The Packers are going to have an interesting decision on Jordan Love, depending on how he does, right? If he is average, do they want to go with competent average or do they have to, go to get their next franchise quarterback? That's, obviously we'll see throughout the season. Can he make throws? Can he, lead the team? All of those things, all the intangibles, those things. Obviously, I will admit you've seen some positive things in preseason, but it's preseason, right? Mm-hmm. You have to look at regular season when you have defensive coordinators that are, specific game plans against some of the things that he does well, and kind of force him out of those things and make him uncomfortable. Obviously, last year defenses made Justin Fields uncomfortable. He was still able to make things happen. He was a playmaker. Did he make all the throws? No, but he did make some deep throws, made some deep touchdowns. And a lot of Packer fans say that he can't throw more than 20 yards. Well, I believe he completed a deep pass to EQ St. Brown right over Jair Alexander. So that has happened. That is on tape. He's done that. He needs to be more consistent. But when you look at it, Justin Fields, when plays break down, he's been able to make plays. So we have to see, can Jordan Love do the same?
Well, consistency, as you said. You name one pass. He has to consistently.
That's the Jordan Love special, or the Justin Fields special. Yeah. The highlight pass that he once made once in a game.
Oh, I'll give you another one. It was a nice one down the field.
They got 10 good ones. Don't worry.
Hey, he almost beat the Vikings on his own in Minneapolis. So
they play good against the Eagles too. It's just they play hard for Eberflus. That's why I like that coach, because they play hard for the coach. That's one thing about the Bears.
Obviously the jury's out on Eberflus as far as coaching wise, but when I went to training camp, I liked all the details that he paid attention to. He was going around to all of the position groups and kind of watching them individually. They were able to, when Justin Fields was, making audible, they turned up they had a DJ right at the stadium, and they turned up the music as loud as they could. So it tried to make it difficult for him. So some of those details I liked from the coaching staff, and they're trying to prepare Justin Fields and prepare the offense for that. So obviously we'll kind of see how it, all plays out on the field.
It'll be all right. Trust me. It'll be all right.
I just think seventh letter, you're the best, because you keep saying you better win.
You better.
Yeah. I'm going to hear your voice on Sunday so many times.
Like I said, man,
I might even tweet that out. You better win, and I'm gonna tag you in it.
You can tag me too.
You got the Packers where you want them.
The hailstorm that you're going to receive if the Packers win this game, not from me, but from everyone,
from everybody.
I feel for you.
Crazy. They've been bugging out. Like, no, you better win. That's all I gotta say about that. Yeah, you better win.
So I always remember where I was when Teddy Bridgewater got injured, because I was in Detroit for work, and I remember the Detroit local sports radio was just freaking out because the Lions are never in a position to take advantage of an injury like that, because the Vikings were coming off a good season, and they're like, the Lions should be able to step in, but they can't because they always stink. And that's what I feel like about the Bears right now. If they go into if they have Green Bay coming in at home with a young quarterback, they haven't seen that in 30 years. It's been so long. If you can't win this game, I just imagine them the same thing on Monday, being like, how the heck can't we, when are we ever going to compete again if we can't beat Green Bay Packers with a new quarterback week 1 at home?
Yep.
And that's what I keep on picturing that in my head, that same kind of reaction. I'm like, how much do we stink?
Well, that's what, I've kind of been on the, train of there's no way the Bears can lose this, but that's also on the back of my mind too. I can just see, that is a possibility, because you just never know. The front seven defense. So it's going to be a fun weekend. We're going to find out pretty soon what teams do what. So it's going to be an exciting season all around. I definitely appreciate each one of you coming on tonight. Where can everyone find you, Craig?
Right for dailynorseman.com, and you can see me on X or Twitter at GA_SKol.
Perfect. And seventh letter?
Twitter, what the fuck? X, seventh letter 4 on X, same OG on Instagram and Facebook. I'm starting a new podcast called the Blue Juice Podcast.
I like it.
Love it.
Tomorrow after we win. So,
love it.
See you guys at the top of the NFC North. That's where you can find me.
Trevor, where can everyone find you now?
Yeah, on Twitter it's Rev Trev K. Love for some some follows there. I appreciate that. Also, Kempner Sports on YouTube, and I also now am one of the fantasy gurus, experts, I don't know, whatever, educated guessers on the Matt Rampage show. So that's Tuesday nights. So you can always follow him and check out his stuff on Tuesdays. So
all good stuff. Yes, he has some interesting Packer takes. Love to kind of poke the Green Bear there.
You need to get on his channel, man. I think you would give him a run for his money.
I think he would
like that actually.
We've gone back and forth on Facebook. He's a good dude, even though
nice
he cheers for the wrong team. But all good stuff. And you can find me on. I am not really a fan of this new X Twitter, but hey, you can find me there. It's just doing something weird with the not letting me follow people back, all that stuff. It's been a little bit an interesting kind of transition, but you can still find me there. NFLOutdated. Find me on, I'm starting to do my reels now. So in some of the things as well. So you can find me on YouTube, and looking forward to hopefully finding me and the Bears in the win column on Sunday. So,
well, I'm predicting it.
You better be.
I am completely drained now. I definitely appreciate you guys coming on. 6-7 to score, Trevor. And you can find that on Odyssey. And it is it's going to be entertaining either way. So, well, thanks again, everyone. This has been the Freezin for NFC North Podcast, episode 57. And I'll start at saying bear down, and I'll let everyone else give out their shout outs as well.
Hey, SKol.
The Lions won again. Bitch.
Thanks again, guys.
All right, y'all be safe.